This ain't your ordinary football show. It's the Old Dominion Football Show with Bruce Rader and Coach Bobby Wilder.
The bye week has passed, and now it is time to say goodbye to 15 seniors who helped pioneer the Old Dominion football program from an upstart program in the CAA to the top-tier FBS level of Conference USA. Hard work, perseverance, and character has overshadowed winning. Not that a win over Louisiana Tech tomorrow wouldn't be nice, but honoring the seniors will certainly take the spotlight. I'm Bruce Rader along with Coach Bobby Wilder, and tomorrow is Senior Day, a day to say goodbye to 15 young men who have become a very big part of your life, and I know it's going to be a difficult day.
It will be. It's always a very emotional day, that Senior Day, and when you mention saying goodbye, that's in essence what happens at the stadium tomorrow, and it happens for 20,000 fans, people that have gotten to know these kids on a personal level, that have fallen in love with them as football players and what they've done. And this group, Bruce, is clearly the most accomplished group of seniors we've ever had. You're talking about a group that's 41-18 record-wise in their 4 years when you go 2011, 12, 13, 14, 11 and 12 conference championships, playoffs, the second round of the playoffs with both of these groups. And what will always impress me the most about this group of seniors, Bruce, is how unselfish they had to be. Keep in mind, when we made this move from FCS to FBS, they in essence had to give up an opportunity to try to win a national championship in 2013. There was no playoffs. We were ineligible for anything, playoff or bowl. And this year, if we win our last two games, get to 6-6, we can only participate in postseason if there aren't enough teams. So in essence, Taylor Heineke and this group of seniors all had to forego their postseason aspirations for the betterment of the university. And when you talk about this group, Bruce, I mean, the All-Americans, they've won academics, football-wise. Taylor Heineke won the Walter Payton Award in 2012. He's going to end up top 10 in every passing category in the history of college football at any level. I mean, that's remarkable. Antonio Vaughn's on the Biletnikoff watch list right now as one of the top receivers in the country. He's 200 yards ahead of the next closest receiver in Conference USA. There's not a bigger separation anywhere else in the country. So just an accomplished group and a group that I'm very proud of.
And a good group of kids. You talk about the character of these young men. And I want to talk to you about the character issue, because this is something that we have never talked about before. Not every player who starts at Old Dominion finishes at Old Dominion. You can be very strict. You can be a lot stricter than a lot of other coaches, and often it means that you lose some very talented players. Can you share your thoughts on this?
Yeah, this is the hardest part about being a head coach, you know, doing the TV shows and the radio shows and the interviews and you know, all the positive things people see. Well, behind closed doors, some of the things you have to do as a head coach are heartbreaking. And one of them is sitting down with a young man who has not fulfilled his obligations to the university or the NCAA or our team rules. And we do have strict team rules, there's no question about that. And to say goodbye to that young man, and you get the tears in their eyes, you get the calls from the families. That's a very difficult thing to do. And I say we have strict rules, Bruce, so I can put it really simple. Our philosophy is aim high, and we're trying to be good people, good students, and good football players. And it all comes down to choices, anything in life. And when you're dealing with young people and you're trying to get them to think about themselves, the university, the football program, and their families every time they make a choice, that's sometimes difficult. In this modern day of technology and Twitter and Facebook and so many things that can trip them up, it's a major challenge. But I firmly believe that the discipline they learn in our program is going to help them be better husbands and fathers and community leaders.
2 games remain in the regular season. Tomorrow, your final game this year at SB Ballard Stadium, and you take on Coach Skip Holtz's Louisiana Tech team, a team that can capture the Conference USA West title with a win tomorrow.
Yeah, this is an impressive team. They're 6-0. I think they're the second best team to Marshall in the league. The way they're playing right now, Bruce, they're on fire. They've won 5 straight games. We have 2 common opponents. We lost at UTEP and at Western Kentucky. We lost at UTEP 42-35. We lost at Western Kentucky 66-51. They beat UTEP at home 55-3.
Ooh.
They beat Western Kentucky at home 59-10. They absolutely destroyed both of those teams. And what Coach Holtz has done is really impressive. They were 4-8 last year in his first year there. Now they're 7-3, 6-0 in the league. He's turned that completely around. He's a good football coach. He's done it at Connecticut, East Carolina. So I expect this is going to be a very good football team and a hungry team. They need to beat us to capture the West because they have Rice at home next week. So this is a huge game for them as well.
We have just a few seconds before the break. It's hard to believe this will be the last time we will get to see Taylor Heineke play in front of the home crowd. It seems like he just got here.
Doesn't it? I can remember, Bruce, in 2011 when he came in for an injured Thomas DeMarco at home against 20th ranked UMass, and he goes 8 for 11 for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns in the second half of that game, leads us to a win. And then he throws 25 touchdown passes, only 1 interception on a Hail Mary his freshman year. Sophomore year wins the Walter Payton, and as I said, he's incredibly decorated. What I'm most proud of is he's a great person. He's a Dean's List student in engineering, and he's one of the greatest quarterbacks ever to play college football.
All right, still to come, we open up the mailbag for another installment of the Coach's Corner and a special edition of the 1 Minute Drill with Brian Parsons. This week's victim, look who it is, none other than Athletic Director Dr. Wood Seelig. You're not going to want to miss that coming up next.
Welcome back to the Old Dominion Football Show. I'm Brian Parsons. Time for the 1 Minute Drill, and look who we have here, the Athletic Director, Wood Seelig. Wood, what was your first car, and was it a chick magnet?
It was a really spacious car. I remember that. It was a yellow Thunderbird with a white roof. It was my grandmother's car, and we inherited it, and I was the lucky recipient of that.
If you won $200 million in the lottery, do you think we would see Seelig Stadium on the Elizabeth River waterfront?
You'd see a lot of Seelig everywhere. The stadium would be a great start. We'd have a huge baseball facility. We'd have a lot of good things going on around Norfolk with $200 million.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie, it's between Caddyshack or Animal House.
Now, Bobby Wilder did the 1 Minute Drill 4 years ago, and we learned what his first concert was. Here's the clip.
Oh, 1978 KISS, Portland Civic Center, front row.
So Bobby Wilder dressed as Gene Simmons. Wood, what was your first concert?
Well, I'm embarrassed to admit it. It was Fog Hat at the Norfolk Scope. I was a junior high school student, so Fog Hat, not a remarkable concert. I did see Earth, Wind & Fire 3 times, though.
Okay. What would bring more notoriety to the school, a men's Final Four or a New Year's Day bowl game?
Yeah, I think both in the same year would be the most notoriety.
And a College World Series and a women's Final Four.
Throw those in, too, while we're at it.
Favorite thing about football Saturdays at Old Dominion?
I love the pregame tailgating. I usually drive around in a golf cart, and I try and get to all the different lots before the game. And it's amazing whether you're back on the water with all the RVs or you're in the silver lot right next to the entrance of the stadium. Everybody's having a blast. The atmosphere is great. The attitudes are terrific. There's not a better tailgating scene in America, in my opinion, than ODU football.
Dr. Wood Seelig has passed the 1 Minute Drill. Wood, say goodbye to the Monarch Nation.
Adios.
Coach, this week's question is from Jared Mitchum in Portsmouth. He's actually got 2. What are your expectations for next year? Can we anticipate seeing ODU in a bowl game?
Yeah, the number one goal, Bruce, next year will be to compete for the East Division championship. That'll be our goal every year. That'll be posted in the locker room. We're always talking about trying to win the East so we can get in the Conference USA championship. If we do that, then we've got a shot at a bowl game. And the second part of the question, the areas we've got to improve in the growth. That's the biggest one, Bruce. You and I have talked about the offensive, defensive line, the disparity all year long, get better there. And now we've gained experience from playing. We're going to welcome back 95 of the 110 on our roster. These kids have learned. Thanks for the question.
That's good, a little bit of depth. Okay, Senior Day tomorrow at ODU. Old Dominion against Louisiana Tech. Both teams coming off a bye week. The Monarchs coming off that thrilling win 2 weeks ago against Florida International. And it's the annual Khedive Shriners Oyster Bowl game dating back to 1936, Coach. It was like, I think that was the year I was born. A great tradition and a great way to wrap up the season.
It is, and a big big thank you. Obviously, Bruce, to have the Shriners with us is phenomenal. I love the fact we do that every year, to have them involved. But, Bruce, this is going to be our 41st consecutive sellout. We're the only team in the history of college football to sell out every game we've ever played. Can't say thank you enough to the 12th Monarchs. We want to send them home and our seniors out in the final home game with a win.
Boy, what a day it's going to be tomorrow, a day to say goodbye to the fans that I know you appreciate so much.
They're awesome. Thank you.
Big game tomorrow, Old Dominion against Louisiana Tech, Senior Day, Oyster Bowl. I understand some of the guys from the Chesapeake Khedive Temple are actually going to be selling oysters there.
I'm hoping they're on the sideline.
We'll get them out there. Kickoff, 1 o'clock, but be in your seats early to honor the seniors. It's going to be an emotional moment. Have a great weekend, everybody, and see you tomorrow at the game.